Take you out now at breaking news, a pursuit we're following involving a U-Haul. We're in the Seal Beach area, and I believe Eliana Moreno overhead for us in News Chopper 4.
Caroline, and apparently this is a chase that started in Seal Beach, but has made its way into several Orange County cities, including Los Alamitos. Has made its way into several Orange County cities, including Los Alamitos, and even made its way over towards Cerritos. Now, whoever's inside the vehicle is wanted for some sort of theft. Now, it's unclear when and where that occurred, but you can see that the vehicle is a U-Haul. It's unclear if that was stolen or if it was rented properly, but you can see that it's on surface streets here at freeway speeds on surface streets here on Westminster Avenue, coming up to Alpha Road. So we're very close to the Leisure World area here in Seal Beach. And let me get out of my doubler because I actually want to show you what the big picture looks like. We're really not seeing too much in the way of traffic, but we are seeing a couple of squad cars behind the vehicle and the CHP helicopters overhead.
Eliana, let's talk about not only the driver, but is there a passenger inside that U-Haul as well that you know of?
Hard to tell just with the camera, since we haven't had a chance to look at that side just yet, but based off of the scanner traffic, it makes it a little bit difficult to figure that out too, because it started in Seal Beach, so they are encrypted, which basically means I can't hear what they're talking about on the scanner. But if CHP takes over this one, then that will make it a little bit easier for me in that sense. I'll be able to relay more of the information of what may actually be going on within that vehicle and how many people may be inside. But again, this started, as far as we know, about 20 minutes ago or so here in the Seal Beach area, and the CHP helicopter is assisting. So I wouldn't be surprised if CHP does get behind this one.
And really, Eliana, we see this vehicle traveling at a pretty good clip here. I mean, really rather dangerous considering city streets. So far, appears the driver has had green lights, but have you seen the driver come upon any red lights, and have they been obeying traffic laws?
Yeah, we actually saw him run a red just as we came overhead, which is how I realized that that's the car we were supposed to be looking for as we approached the Seal Beach area. And we're slightly further than we usually like to be on this one for just a moment here as we come through the Los Al airspace. But Sorrow, my pilot, is trying to get us a little bit closer so we can keep tabs on this guy. But right now he's on 2nd Street. So as he continues moving west here, it will become Long Beach. So in that case, Long Beach police could actually take over the pursuit if they are asked to do that. That was such a close call. Sorry about that. We're right next to Cal State Long Beach, and a very close call there here on 2nd Street as he ran the light, just what we were talking about, ran the red light, and so that's why he almost collided there with some other traffic.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. The tree was sort of in the way, but I was wondering if he actually made contact with that white truck there. But Eliana, I noticed that we saw police cruisers before. Are they hanging back a little further than they were before?
Yeah, they're hanging back just a little bit, but let me see if I can see where they're at. There they are. So they're just a few vehicles away from this guy, so they're not trying to give him too much in the way of room. Oh, look at this. He's encountering some traffic here. And wrong side of the road now, going over to the wrong side of the road. He's just on the other side of the Whole Foods there. I believe he's still on the wrong side of the road. We'll see if he pops out. Okay, I guess he just went eastbound. So he just U-turned was what he did there behind the building. I couldn't see, but fortunately Sorrow could see it out his side. So he basically just went wrong side of the road in order to U-turn because he didn't want to wait in traffic, and now going back eastbound here on 2nd Street.
And really back to the Seal Beach area likely as well, which seems to be, as you mentioned, Eliana, where this all started. Well, I take it back. Now pulling another U.
Another U-turn here.
Another U-turn there, yeah, as you were saying, Carolyn. It seems like this driver favors Seal Beach, which is something we often see in police pursuits. Drivers tend to return to an area that is familiar to them, which makes sense because then you won't accidentally drive yourself into a dead end. But gosh, I really wish you would slow down because it's really busy here in terms of traffic, and he's essentially freeway speeds here on a very busy 2nd Street, which is right between Seal Beach and Long Beach.
Yeah, you know, we've noticed, though we've been on just for a few minutes here, becoming more and more aggressive with tactics here and driving, and of course that U-turn over across the median here not too long ago, Eliana.
Yeah, he's really getting desperate, which is never what you want to see in a pursuit because that's when accidents happen. So really picking up speeds. We saw him wrong side of the road, running red lights. So it is getting increasingly more dangerous. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw officers go into surveillance mode, which is helicopter only. And the thought process behind that is that if this person doesn't see squad cars behind him, maybe he'll slow down. It does sometimes work, but sometimes it doesn't. And it actually could make things more dangerous because now you don't even know that this is a pursuit.
Yeah. And Eliana, the high profile of this vehicle, I've noticed at times when these erratic lane changes have happened, the U-Haul's wobbling.
Yeah, it seems somewhat unsteady, but just to talk about some pursuit intervention tactics, I know for sure they can try a spike strip on this guy. I have seen officers try pit maneuvers on larger profile vehicles like this. It usually doesn't end well for them, but they usually end up overturning.
Yeah.
So that may not be their top choice at this point, but they will for sure think about spike strips. My pilot Sarah was telling me there was a building coming up there, so I widened out just for a second so we wouldn't lose the vehicle, but still continuing here at high speeds on 2nd Street into Long Beach.
Yeah, so are we officially in Long Beach now? Because you talked about handing over jurisdiction to Long Beach PD, if that in fact is true.
Yeah, we're definitely now in Long Beach, and so Seal Beach officers will have that option to offer it up to Long Beach if they want to take over. And it really just does depend on how long he's going to be on surface streets in Long Beach, because if he's just going to be in and out real quick, that was a close one. If he's just going to be in and out real quick, Seal Beach will stay behind it. But if he's going to be in Long Beach for a while, then it would be best. Oh, did you see that? He got here.
And he's on a one-way street right now, it looks like.
Yeah, it was either an alleyway or a one-way street. I think it was an alleyway. But we're on surface streets here in Long Beach. Very busy area, of course. Lots of homes on either side, lots of cars. A lot of people just coming home from work at this time. Oh, and we also have some cyclists there on the road. So that really is what makes me the most nervous about this all, is the cyclists, the pedestrians, the people who are just completely unsuspecting and don't see this large profile vehicle coming right at you at high speeds.
It was pointed out to us, and we should make notice here, that these streets, these neighborhoods, they're dense. The streets are smaller, they're thinner, they're not as wide. So again, this has become very precarious here, not only for this driver, but for those who live in and around this area. Eliana?
Yeah, absolutely. The streets here are a little bit more narrow because we are a little bit closer to the ocean, so it does tend to be a little tighter here. And speaking of tight there, he just squeezed between that car there and the curb on what looks like Wendy Lane, perhaps, here in still in the Long Beach area, slowing down just a touch, but still, it's not enough. But kind of in and out of traffic here. I don't know if he knows where he's at because. This is a highly residential area. I can't imagine that he knows exactly where he's going here. There's a lot of fences kind of all over the place here. So I lost sight of him there just behind that building. I haven't seen him pop out. I think he might just...
He made that right turn, and he has yet to pop out, in our view at least, Eliana. I can't see anything.
Yeah, I haven't seen him pop out yet. Oh, but there we go. We see somebody running. Now, I don't know if this is our guy, but I'm just going to stick with him here for just a moment because I do see that the U-Haul is parked there. And I see this man walking away. So, forgive me if this isn't our guy, but he definitely is in the area of where we see that box truck basically just pulled there to the side. Now he is kind of running around, walking around, kind of trying to blend in. And so Saro's getting the description from the police helicopter, and it does match what this man is wearing. So we'll keep an eye on him here. He's right there next to the water, between the water and these large trees. And it looks like this pretty much comes to an end. I mean, he's going to have to U-turn or walk into this park, unless he plans on going for a swim, because he is... really in an area where he can't get away. And here come the officers.
I was just going to ask you, Eliana, they are right there.
Yep, descending on him now. He was able to get an edge on them for just a little bit because of the way he was driving. So he had created a little bit of distance for himself. So now we see them running, and he is down on the ground waiting for their arrival. So he is kissing the pavement here, officers with their guns drawn. The man appears to be fully complying in every way. So what we'll see is that this officer will approach. He will handcuff him. and then they will do a quick search of his person, help him to his feet, and away he goes. I'm going to move over to the U-Haul, though, super quick, though. Now that we know that he's in custody, they still haven't cleared it, so they really don't know if anybody else is inside of that yet. So in a moment here, as more units arrive on scene, they will approach the U-Haul and they will clear it to make sure that nobody else is inside.
All right, Eliana, thank you for your great coverage overhead, and we see the suspect now being taken into custody. We appreciate it.
All right, Eliana, thank you.